So let's talk about
Yeah.
ultra luxury homes in Newburyport. Yeah.
So let's define what we're calling ultra luxury homes.
Yes. So ultra luxury, I would say, is mid twos and up, over 300 million.
Yeah.
Over 3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there has been a trend in Newburyport to see those happening, and part of it is because all those evil developers, those evil people that are over 55, need a place to park their money. Isn't that like that's really what a developer told me? He said, I have had people say to me, I made so much money in the last 2 days in the stock market, I got to put it somewhere. I may stay here a couple times a year, but at least I know it's in brick and mortar. So there's that. So the median sale price in Newburyport, and this is just, we're using Newburyport because it's glaring here, but I'm sure the problem exists elsewhere. I think Portsmouth, a lot of Boston. Total single families in Newburyport so far.
Sales, 34.
34 so far this year. Median price $975. Average price $1,122,615. Highest sale price $2.6, and there were two of them. 0 sales over $3 million. Not one.
But how many do you think $3 million plus houses are on the market right now?
Right now? I know of one.
9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say, yeah.
9.
9.
There are 9 $3+ million houses on the market. And the last resale to sell over $3 million was the one on Spofford, right near the Rotary on the water. That's the last resale. The others were new construction, which were Lincoln Ave, and then the one that's right next door to you here on Toppins Lane.
That's right.
Those are the only houses in the last 5 years that have sold over $3 million.
So I was looking at another set of statistics, which was about how we're actually in a housing slump, in that there are less units are selling than in previous years. Not as much in Newburyport, but certainly in the country at large. And part of that had to do with this, that the numbers on the high end were actually fairly strong compared to, well, let me put it this way. I listened to a developer in Boston, and he was saying, a realtor in Boston, he was saying that his developer partner was going to do units in a building in, I think it was South Boston, or South End, actually.
Yeah.
And they were going to do $2 million units, 1922, like that, and they decided that they would do them over 3, and they sold fast, whereas had they been under, he would have still been sitting on them.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, because that's the difference in wealth, right? And, but had they been under $1 million, they probably would have gone right away.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of like the point of that whole conversation about like the missing middle,
right,
and like housing the people, obtainable housing. If we had a bunch of new construction houses in Newburyport that were 1.2, they would sell.
Well, yeah,
immediately.
And here, the price distribution breakdown is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Under $700K. So this is year to date, correct?
Yes.
So 18% were under $750, 6 sales. 1 million to 1.499, basically 1.5. I'm sorry, I skipped a group. 750 to 999, 13 sales. That is the fattest part of the market.
Yep.
That's 38%.
Yep.
1 million to 1.5, 29%. So you can see those two pieces from 750 to 1.5. If you have a house in that price range,
you're going to do
well. Then you go to 1.5 to 1.9, 2 sales.
Yeah.
2 to 2.4, 1 sale.
Yeah.
1.5 to
2.5
to 2.9, 2 sales. 3 million, 0 sales.
And like, this isn't a slight to any of the homeowners whose houses that are on the market, or the developers who have these new construction houses. I'm not demeaning them. I'm not saying that they aren't worth that. My question is, okay, maybe I am demeaning it a little bit. How are we getting to that number? That's I'm having a hard time understanding that, because according to this, There aren't many houses that have sold over that price.
So why do people think they can get that price?
Correct. And we had zero.
You know why?
We had zero listed last year.
Yeah.
Zero houses over $3 million were listed in Newburyport last year. The year before, it was like 3 sold or something because the 2 new Lincoln, this one, the one that was on Spofford. And so why now, all of a sudden, does everyone think that their house is worth almost $4 million?
Thing. Everyone does the same thing. They say, look at that house on Lincoln Street. They're all using that one.
Yeah.
And that sold for whatever. So
150,
I believe.
Yeah.
Is what Blake said. Yeah. So they all think that their house is as nice as that. And there is a little caveat to that too, which is antique homes. Okay, so antique homes never sell for what new construction sells for.
And new construction versus a resale, you're paying a 20% premium on top of.
I would say too, though, the builders that are actually selling the $2 million to $2.9 million in that bracket are doing a much higher quality product than we've ever seen before in Newburyport.
No, as I said before about the high-end condos, the quality of the construction is not even in question.
Right.
All of them are doing a fabulous job.
But what I'm saying is they have to do
Yeah.
that in order to get those kind of numbers. They better be super special. And there's a couple of things in town that aren't super special that people thought they could get that price for that are sitting. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to name them because I don't want any of the agents throwing me under the bus. But there are a few that have just been sitting, and when you go into them, they look like 1.8. And that's why they're not selling.
But they're on for over 2.
Over 2, yep, or over 3. Yep.
And it's just like we're in we're at war right now.
No, it's a conflict. It's not a war.
Okay, it's a conflict.
Skirmish.
Sure. And we're heading towards a recession, at least for the middle class and down is in a recession. I don't know about the upper class, but because it's not my tax bracket, but it's just I don't see. I'm probably wrong, and I've been wrong before, but I can't see it. I don't see it.
Well, I think historically what I've seen is people push the limit, and then somebody gets burnt, and they all go, oh, yeah. I guess it's over. I guess we're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to have to happen, is people are going to have to see that.
Maybe we're wrong. Maybe all these wealthy people will come from Wellesley and go, I don't mind paying $3 million for a house. I don't necessarily. All 9 of them, I don't see it happening. I mean, there's 2 that are listed over $5 million. We're going to talk about 15-minute cities.
Okay.
So let's first, and why they're controversial, which when I found this out, because a couple of people commented something and like, oh, I suppose you want 15-minute cities too, and I'm like, wait, what's wrong with it? I don't understand. So anyway,
okay, so what the heck is a 15-minute?
Okay, so
explain that first.
The original concept is from urban planner Carlos Moreno, and it's simply a design that is everything you could possibly need is within 15 minutes walking or biking.
He's from Paris?
It was adopted in Paris.
Oh, well, there you go.
So to reduce car dependency, to create a sense of community, urban planners are big on this because right now we have things in urban areas that are like food deserts or hospital deserts. Like there's no place within walking distance or biking distance to get to where you can
fulfill people
fulfill your
live in Newburyport.
Basic needs. Right. So Newburyport downtown kind of, as it says here, already kind of functions this way.
I think it's replicating old cities.
It is. And in Europe, oddly, most of their cities and towns, even small villages, all revolve around a center that, for the most part, you can get to by public transportation or walk
and bicycle
or bike. Yeah, this is not like a new concept, but in America we have suburban sprawl everywhere, which is awful for the environment, bad for transportation, bad for community, to be honest with you, because it isolates people. So the conspiracy started going around.
It's conspiracy theory.
Yeah. Well, yes. That these were going to be...
This is unbelievable.
Government government zones. Like, so basically they're trying to push everyone into these, like, I don't know, like a smart city that surveils you. And so that they can monitor your moves at all times, and then you won't be allowed to move outside of the confines of the 15-minute city.
That's not what happens.
Yeah.
That's like saying that, like if you live in Queens.
Yeah. And it
I'm
so
sorry.
it says it went viral in 2023, recast as climate lockdowns, tracking citizens via license plate, global elites trapping people within government designated zones, spread through social media and reached actual local planning board meetings in the UK and the US.
And what happened when they went to those planning board meetings?
I don't know, but it's just like, this is just, the idea is to make communities more livable,
right,
and more
access
accessible.
Everything nearby without a car.
Yeah. It's not like
reduce your carbon footprint.
Maybe it is as nefarious as they say. I don't know. I'm not in charge, but it doesn't, like, the concept wasn't created to trap people in. And I heard one guy's like, they're going to take away all your cars. And it's like, okay.
Who are they?
I don't know who they are. Pull them from my cold, dead hands. That's all I have to say.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you live in
West Newbury.
the Outback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just thought that was kind of
It
funny
is
because
kind
it kept on popping up in my comments, and I'm like,
15-minute city. So
yeah.
that's you just better stop that, Rachel. Stop talking about a 15-minute city. Okay.
So
let's move on. Portsmouth workforce housing, 2 projects. So Portsmouth's median single-family home price is $875. So it's actually a little bit lower than Newburyport.
which is surprising because the high end in Portsmouth is more expensive.
Is higher.
Yeah.
So they've named workforce housing as its top priority.
Yep.
So what does that mean?
So there's 2 projects going on. One is at the Christ Episcopal Church at 1035 Lafayette Road. Portsmouth Housing Authority partnered with the church to redevelop the site, 44 permanently affordable workforce housing units, plus HQ for Haven, which is a regional domestic violence provider, 7 traditional housing units for women and families served by Haven, so women and families in crisis, and renovated space for Little Blessings Child Care with a capacity for 71 children.
Well, that's good.
This is amazing. I mean, we need more childcare centers, like, for sure.
For sure.
And there's, help for people in crisis, and they're going to be permanently affordable. And as much as it is like a box like all the other ones, it's a cool looking building.
It's a cool box.
It's a cool box.
I think so too.
It's not a regular box. It's a cool box.
Yeah. Okay.
So then the other one is 35 Sherburne Road at the Sherburne School, city-owned former elementary school, 5.2 acres. City Council chose PHA as a development partner in December 2024, now proposed at 127 total units across 2 buildings, plus conversion of the existing school, split into 2 phases for financing purposes. Phase one, new 4-story L-shaped building at rear of property, 90 units. Phase 2, second new building closer to Sherburne Road, 29 units plus school building conversion. It's likely not, I don't know when it's breaking ground, but this is, again, fantastic. Portsmouth is dealing with the same problem as Newburyport, and these are all affordable.
Well, if the medium is $875, then using its own housing authority and civic buildings to try and house people will make the city function. Now, that is true. And it is something. Yeah,
for sure.
That's great. I love creative reuse anyway.
Yeah.
So we were talking on our last episode about the effect of drought.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are saying we've been in a drought, we can't afford to build more units. But I think that there's a real pushback on that in terms of...
Well...
Yeah, okay. Go ahead.
Water restrictions and drought, I looked this up, apparently don't mean we have no water. Which is very confusing to the average person. So Essex County...
So we're in a level 3 critical drought.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean we have no water.
No.
Okay. Tell me why.
The drought started in September 2024, drove a record wildfire season. Do you remember my grass on my lawn
it's
was
bad.
crispy?
Yes, I remember that.
And we had I think we went almost 2 months with no rain. It was like a really, really long time.
Yep.
And has persisted through 2 winters of below average snowpack and rainfall. One brief recovery in March of 2026, that's this year, was reversed by a dry April. So we've had less rainfall. But the argument against more housing, more multifamily housing because of water is an interesting one because, surprise, surprise,
I know what you're going to say.
multifamily housing uses less water
Right.
for many reasons. One being, so outdoor irrigation is the biggest source of water
usage.
water usage in the residential areas. So that's, obviously with the watering your lawn. So if you're so consumed about the drought, then maybe you shouldn't water your lawn. Maybe you should get a micro clover lawn instead. And some people have. I wanted to get one. My husband said no, but I mean, we have 3 acres to cover. It would have been a little bit
that's
difficult.
common out in places like Colorado. The
Micro clover and stuff that is drought resistant.
And that doesn't require mowing as well.
Yeah.
So less energy.
So dense multifamily housing uses dramatically less water per resident than single family homes on half-acre lots. The EPA research, higher density development generates less stormwater runoff as well per house, creates less impervious cover in the watershed, and shorter water pipelines mean fewer leaks.
Well, that makes sense.
So, yes, drought bad, but you're not
drought, don't build though.
right. And also, again, it's often a concern for multifamily houses, buildings that don't have large lawns that need to be irrigated, right? But no one's sitting and complaining about, the development of 5 new houses that are going in that are going to have huge lawns and are.
Well, I think that's very true.
Yeah. I'm not saying that water isn't a concern.
Right.
It's a concern. However, if we're going to build more housing, it should be dense housing because it's better for the environment. I know I've said that before and people think I'm crazy, but it's true.
Well, you are, but that's
Look it
the
up.
point. Yeah. No, it is. It is true. And I keep thinking of your brother who lives in Queens, and his carbon footprint is very small.
I have no idea what my carbon footprint. How do you find that out?
I don't know, but I just know.
He knows.
He knows.
I'm sure he
because
knows.
He knows every bit of minutia in the world. But it has, because he doesn't have a car.
Yeah.
He lives in an apartment that's 1,200 square feet. And he's got a tiny little yard that has perennials that are all drought drought resistant. So there's a reality to that. So then let's talk about
this is a hot topic.
We need
rent control ballot initiative.
So what do they want to do? They want to cap rent increases to the lower of the rate of inflation or 5%. And that would apply statewide. So you can't increase the rent by that amount. What if you do work to the building? No. Okay.
So, I want to preface this by saying I generally am for government intervention when capitalism gets out of control. Mm-hmm. I think that we do need to do something about our rent prices. Mm-hmm. Do I think this is the solution? No. And it actually pains me to say that. It does. And I've actually spoke with other housing advocates and people at nonprofits, and I've asked them, these are all pro-housing people, what do you think about the ballot initiative? And they've all been like, it sucks. We want to support it, but it's just the way it's written just does not make sense, and it's going to be more harmful than it is going to be helpful. And that's unfortunate, right? Because it's been a huge push, but it's the language is just not correct. And there is some research to suggest, and it's who's paying for the research though? That's the other thing.
Always.
That rent control actually stops new housing from being built. Or the other thing that happens.
Well, they can't do their projections.
Right.
Percentage of increase
Even
over
though
years
there's-
with appreciation and all
There's
that.
a
yeah.
10-year cap. Like, so they can increase their housing for the first 10 years and then it stops. But there's also a case to be made that because they know that there's going to be a cap to what they can, ask for down the line, developers could create ultra luxury rentals and have a high number from the jump to cover their eventual
Well, there's always a
cap.
workaround.
Right, but so then that creates a large gap in the market
Right.
of people who are grandfathered in because they're not grandfathered, they already have
They're established at $5,000 a month or whatever.
or
yeah.
whatever it is, and then new people, young people coming to college or whatever enter the market, and all that's available is these uber expensive apartments because no one's building somewhat affordable units anymore. That argument.
But the reason for it is that people want to know how can you protect the tenants against somebody just jacking up their rent.
I know, and they're not wrong.
And yeah,
I think there should be a cap to a degree on how much you can increase rent between lease terms, because
well, then there's also the question of like, is it a difference for a little landlord that owns two? Like if you
owner occupied or under 4 unit non-owner. Okay, so hold on. Owner occupied buildings with 4 or fewer units would be exempt.
Okay, that makes sense. But only owner occupied, not
correct.
just 4 units.
Right.
Okay.
Look, it is a Band-Aid on a gaping wound. That's what this is.
I think that to our point previously about building in general is that loosening the standards to build or making it more, giving people more options is a better idea than limiting, and this is limiting. Right?
I'm not 100% against rent control. I'm not. The way that it was written was just not real world. It's not a real world solution. Great in theory, not awesome in practice.
Yep.
There's this mother.
You have to play it.
Yeah, I'll play the video. But there's this mother-daughter team. I think they're out of Long Island or something, or New Jersey or something. And they're like, "Hi, we are the best real estate team in New Jersey."
Yeah. Hi, I'm Bobby Galkin.
And I'm Marcy Bork. And we
are the best mother-daughter team in Middlesex County. We can get you from for sale to under contract.
Let us do the same for you.
Mother-daughter, call me if you want to buy. Yeah.
Call us, and they hold up their phone number.
Yeah,
we gotta do a mimic.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
I
let's
think
do
it
it.
would be too funny because I've seen a couple of their videos and
And
they're so awkward.
I have to wear a wig because the mom wears a wig.
Oh, does she?
Oh.
yeah.
Definitely.